Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. I appreciate y'all being here. And if you're new to the channel, if you're finding us for that very first time, welcome. It's great to have you. And as a quick reminder, before we get into our topic here today, my focus, my mission here on the channel is I want to be able to provide as much information as I can to as many people as I can, across all regions. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe to the channel, when you choose to hit that like button, when you offer comments, which we appreciate, and then when you choose to share the information with friends, associates, and colleagues. And so if you've not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And then for additional ways you can learn more about me, learn more about my company, and how I can help take your business at next level, be sure to check out those links below. And while you're looking at those links, consider becoming a channel member, for additional information on how you can grow and develop your business. Now, with that said, let's get into our topic today, and it's the challenges of growing a gym business and how to meet them. The challenges of growing a gym business and how to meet them. Let's talk about this. I got 7 things I'd like for you to think about on the challenges of growing a gym business. And so on my list, number 1, it's keeping up with the market. Keeping up with the market. The market changes. I mean, we've seen that, year after year, right? The market's going to change, okay? Now, one of the things that I want to suggest here when I talk about, keeping up with the market is, first of all, become a student. Become a really good student. Become a student of the industry. Become a student of fitness. Become a student, certainly, of your business. Become a student of sales. A student of management. Learn this. Use this channel, for this. Use your local bookstore for this. I know when I first became an owner, and before that, when I became a manager, I'd go to the bookstore. I was always buying books on how to do this, how to do this, how to do this, because nobody was really teaching me. Okay, and this is how I learned it. Okay, or at least how I learned it to begin with. Okay, and so you want to keep up with the market. You want to be educated, and you want to be a good student. And one of the things with your gym, okay, if you're already operating, if you're getting ready to, you want to know this, is one of the secrets to long-term success in the gym business is you want to keep your gym as new today as the day that it first opened. Okay, the equipment still could work. You've maintained it well, kept it well, but you want the new technology. You want all the new. Because I know a lot of these big operations, when they come into areas, they automatically think they're going to grab 15% of your business, just because maybe it hasn't been maintained. Okay, so let's keep up with the market. Let's keep up what's going on in the community. Know what your competition's doing. How are you different? What do you do that's so much better than what they're doing? Where is that differentiation? Don't let yourself fall behind on that. So challenge number 1 of growing a gym business, keeping up with the market. Number 2, planning ahead. Okay, and if you've not done it, get yourself a business plan. Okay, if you don't have one, you need one, we can help you with that. We do it in a collaborative manner. You can click the links below, and we're happy to chat with you about that. But you want to get a business plan. And so first thing, your business plan, we do it in a collaborative manner because we don't want to just teach you here's what you do, but here's why you do it. But we want to be working on key objectives of this business plan every single day. So one of the bigger mistakes that's made is we're not working on these key objectives every single day. And then also, in addition to that, I like to see a plan of action written. And everybody should be involved in this. Owner should have one, your general manager, sales manager, I like all key staff to have a plan of action, okay? And as a matter of fact, I want to make a note here. For you folks that are our channel members, I'm going to drop a plan of action for you that you can grab here on the channel. And so we want to write this plan of action because what happens if we don't, and this is one of the common denominators that I see for clubs that struggle, is they really don't have a plan. They're more or less just kind of reacting to everything, okay? And that's really not where you want to be. We really want to have a strategy on how we're going to do this and how we're going to move this thing forward. So, planning ahead is going to be big for you, okay, across the board. And I like to do it for development. I'm trying to develop someone to become a manager or, something of that nature. Being able to think through this is a great exercise for them because so many people aren't used to doing that. Number 3 on the challenges of growing a gym business is cash flow and financial management. Cash flow and financial management. We could have a whole series on this and talking about this. Let's kind of talk about some basics here. Number 1, at minimum, you should have 1 month's operating capital on hand. And that can be, lines of credit, could be some credit cards, could be that. But you want to have, 1 month operating capital on hand. Maybe you want 3 months, okay? And so you want to have some operating capital. If we don't, what happens sometimes, we start to bootstrap this stuff, we start to choke it off, and all of a sudden it doesn't really work for us. You can check out links below for additional information on how you can obtain, additional financing, to help grow your business. But you want to make sure you have that cash on hand. The other thing you want to make sure on the cash flow, it's when I come in to do a turnaround, okay? First thing we do is we have to cut unprofitable programs and cut, folks that maybe aren't producing, because we have to get to the point that we have a profit every month, and we have to figure that out. And it's interesting how many clubs don't do that, and they accept those losses every month. Don't accept those losses. We need to figure that out. Okay, we need to be an expert at sales management. And I know we're talking cash flow and financial management here, but to really get that cash flow, you need to become an expert at sales management. There's no getting around it. Your sales, this is the oxygen to your business. And what happens when you cut off the oxygen supply? Not very good. And there's a lot of management things that go into this. Some other things that I would look at is, for example, we're looking at cash flow and financial management. At maturity, and I usually will define, just for the sake of a conversation, I'll define maturity as 12 months. Maybe it can happen a little earlier, maybe it takes a little longer, but we'll call it 12 months. I like to see your rent at 15% of your revenue. I like to see your payroll about 40%. Now you spend about 55%. If you're spending 15% on everything else, you're throwing off a 30% margin. Okay, I like to see your recurring fees a minimum of 80% of your base operating expense. Now, preferably 100, but a minimum of 80. Sometimes that number's too low. You're scrambling. What we want to have happen is, when you turn that key in the door at the first of every month, we want to get to the point where all of our bills are paid, right? So, cash flow and financial management is number 3. Number 4, problem solving. And boy, this is a big one, because if you haven't walked the walk, if you haven't been there, there's a tendency to get into that trial and error thing. So again, I want to encourage you, surround yourself with experts, whoever you choose, but surround yourself with experts, folks that have been there, folks that can say, yes, based on what I've seen in the past, based on my experience, here's what you should do. You start trying to trial and error problem solving, it can get very expensive, okay? And then if you're not making the right decisions, it can kind of paralyze you, where maybe you stop making decisions at all, which kind of is a decision, right? So, the issue of problem solving. The other thing I would, in looking at something like this, it's easy to always look at the problem, okay? But, get in the solutions business. Let's don't over-identify the problem. Let's don't give too much power and energy to that problem. Let's give the power and energy, to that solution. So with the problem solving is a big part of it, and sometimes it's even recognizing the problem, because one of the things that you really want to do, when you're in sales or when you're in marketing, you want to be able to recognize that problem before it becomes an emergency. Number 5, the right systems. And again, the same thing. You're not going to know this unless you're surrounding yourself with folks that have been there and done that. And the biggest systems where the biggest mistakes are made that I see are in the sales process, okay, is when a customer comes in, how do we handle them? Because what our job is we want to be able to solve that customer's problem, okay? And then we want to, and by virtue of that, helping them get started today. You want the right systems. How do we answer the phone? How do we follow up with customers? What's our sales process? Do we have a second sale? What's our process on personal training? You need to get all of this down. And many of this information, you can get this here on the channel. You can search. I think we're I don't know, we're probably, approaching 1,400 videos, I'm guessing, here by now. There's a lot of them on here that are how-to in nature. And just by watching 2 or 3 or 4 every single day, you can start to get these systems in place. Or feel free to give us a call. We're offering a 45-minute free strategy session. Happy to chat with you about some of that. Number 6 on the challenges of growing a gym business is skills and attitudes. Skills and attitudes. And so here's what I know to be true. If we have a great attitude, a winning attitude, a positive attitude, and we follow the process, you're going to win. You're going to have success. It really can be that simple. Not always that easy, but it can be that simple. And so skills, role play this. Every day be role playing something. Role play the telephone inquiry. Role play the outbound call. Role play the customer coming in under this scenario. Role play the customer coming in under this scenario. Role play how you're going to do a closeout. Role play, get that skill level high. Okay? And then attitudes. There's nothing worse than an attitude that's not 100%. And I tell you, the most dangerous person, a little sidebar to this, one of the most dangerous people you have working in your gym right now is a high producer that doesn't have a good attitude. Okay, so worst thing you can possibly have. If you have that, that needs to be addressed right away. But skills and attitude. Let's make sure our attitude is positive attitude. An attitude of winning, a focus of solutions and providing solutions for folks. And then practice the skill set. How do we give a tour? How do we show the membership rates? How do we do a second sale? How do we follow up? Constantly be working on that. And then number 7, this one is a challenge of growing a gym business and how to meet them, but welcoming change. Welcoming change. Embrace change. It's going to happen whether you like it or not, okay? Welcome it, embrace it, encourage it. As a matter of fact, I would go so far as make it a habit of changing before you have to. Changing before you have to. One of the things that I constantly do in meetings, whether they're meetings that are one-on-one, they're virtual, they're conference lines, things of this nature, I always talk to folks and we start off with, tell me what's working well, and what's not working well. What do you feel good about? What do you not feel good about? Because what we're constantly looking at, sometimes if it's working well, we want to make sure we're doing it right. But if it's not working well, we need to change some things. Maybe we need to change the process, change how we look at things. But learn to welcome change. Welcome it with open arms, because you know what? We're going to have to do it regardless. Okay? And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put another a form out there for you channel members. It's how to prevail, okay, in your market, how to win in your market, and it's a checklist of all the things you can go through, to make sure that you're staying ahead of what needs to be done. So look for a plan of action. Look for a how to prevail information sheet on the channel as well. So folks, I appreciate you being here today. Again, my name is Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting. And as I mentioned earlier, my focus here in the channel, my mission here in the channel is I want to be able to provide as much information as I can, to as many people as I can, across all regions. And best way I can do it is when you choose to subscribe, when you choose to hit the like button, when you choose to offer comments, and you choose to share the information. So if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company, and how I can help take your business to that next level, be sure to check out those links below. Consider becoming a channel member, and we look forward to seeing y'all in that next video.